Eric Cantona played just 5 seasons in the Premier League, winning 4 titles and 2 doubles.
It's Cantona! Yes! Eric Cantona!
And then he quit. His time was brief, his impact enormous. He left an indelible mark on England's biggest club. Eric Cantona is a legend of the Barclays Premier League.
United hadn't won the league since 1967, which was a statistic you wouldn't believe given the size of the club. Here you had one of the most renowned clubs in world football and they couldn't win their own domestic title.
There was a problem with not scoring goals. And as soon as Cantona arrived from Leeds in November 1992, suddenly the goal-scoring record of Manchester United changed drastically.
Now Owen, Spurs trying to come out. Cantona is really in the mood. And Owen, yes!
Players who were not scoring, finding it very difficult, players like Mark Hughes, for example, who found it difficult to score, suddenly had with them a teammate that could supply them with ammunition. Not only that, who could also score himself.
Hughes, Giggs is in here, over Besson, Cantona!
And the goal-scoring statistics of Manchester United before Eric Cantona and after he arrived are so starkly contrasted that you have to see there's a relationship from cause to effect.
You know, the level of training, the level of finishing when we did shooting practice, everything just seemed to go up a gear. And yeah, I think he was hugely influential in us winning the league.
I watched him in training. Other players watched him in training. Were looking at me and just saying, "Did you see that?" When we used to play the sort of the bottom sides, they'd just camp in their own half and on the edge of their box, and we needed some sort of guile and some little bit of tenacity and a little bit of magic, and he was the one that sort of pulled the strings. He was sort of like the conductor and put the little balls through and got on the end of crosses and got on the end of, and finished goals.
Cantona. It's measured, the flag stays down, here's Giggs. Still Giggs, it's going to be a United goal.
I have absolutely no doubt that Eric Cantona is the reason why Manchester United became this title-winning machine. Just I have no doubt that Eric Cantona became Eric Cantona because of Manchester United. The two were made for each other.
And they've just been getting better and better. The snowball's got bigger and bigger. They've got stronger and stronger as a football club. And I think it does have a lot to do with King Eric Cantona.
It started, I think, in a game against Manchester City.
It became a bit of a trademark. I don't know how it started, really.
Not sure about the colours. It wasn't the best look, but if anybody's got to carry it off...
I mean, Eric is just... Eric walks into a room and the whole place just stands still. He has a presence and an aura about him that comes with sort of Hollywood movie stars.
In France, it was actually something that young men used to do when they wanted to look a little bit rough. You know, you had a leather jacket and then your white shirt and you would put the collar up, and that set you out as a tough guy.
If I went against Eric Cantona level, he'd destroy me because he was a great player. So I had to try and get in his head. So what I used to do is turn his collars down.
Maybe it's one of those collars that, you know, the king with the crown and the collars up, sort of made him a king, didn't it? So you can have that. I'll let him have that style.
He started his Premier League career elsewhere, at Leeds, and even before he left for Manchester, he managed to get himself into the history books.
I was playing for, I think it was Spurs, was playing against Leeds. And they've got this new French lad called Cantona, and no one had heard of him. And I thought, oh, it should be a good game. I think their leading striker was out. I thought, oh, it might be an easy day today. And when we lost 5-0 and this Cantona scored that trick, and I thought, oh my jeez, I don't want to play him again anymore. And about 3 months later, he went to Man United, and I had to play him again. And I think we lost 4. So he sort of followed me about.
His departure from Leeds was sudden and unexpected.
I think the story goes that Howard Wilkinson had actually called Alex Ferguson up to see if he could buy Dennis Irwin back. Alex Ferguson said, no, he's not for sale, but while you're on the phone, what's happening with Eric Cantona?
The departure was very, very sudden. I think what was more surprising and sudden was the club that he went to, and also the fee.
And Howard Wilkinson was having a few problems with him, and he went, oh, he's doing me head in, you can have him. And Alex Ferguson sort of said, well, I'll give you £1 million for him. He went, yeah, you can have him. And that was it, done, dusted.
We certainly knew from seeing him and playing with him, you know, what he was worth to us. And hindsight's a wonderful thing, but now that didn't seem a great bit of business.
And he came to us and was just unbelievable.
His first full season at United brought even greater riches than the first. The league title was won with 2 games to spare.
Cantona would score crucial goals in the league throughout the 93-94 season. Very quickly established himself as the most popular, most iconic Manchester United player.
He's onside. Cantona could get the second for United. It's so easy.
Irwin, Sharp and Cantona all around. Giggs has moved up to one side. It's Cantona who's going to try it. And what a goal from the Frenchman, Eric Cantona! Absolute firecracker!
The double, United's first, was completed against Chelsea in a 4-0 win at Wembley.
At the time, it was tipping it down the rain, and the worst thing for any Man U side that I was ever involved with anyway was the fact that the Wembley pitch could be really sticky and slow the game down and help the team we were playing against. And when it started to rain, everyone in the dressing room just went, we're going to win this. There's no two ways about it. They cannot live with us if we start passing it on. And it just so happened that the lads went straight at him and he scored 2 penalties. He sort of bossed the show, he bossed the game, and to score 2 penalties in a game is tough enough because that is all mental. You know, are you going to go the same way? Are you going to go different ways? Is the keeper going to read you? And that's when it does come down to bottle and to psychology really. And that's where you put your house on Eric scoring. He doesn't really miss many. And they don't come much bigger than an FA Cup final against Chelsea. And to score both penalties is just a mark of the man. He just makes it look easy. I think that just sums him up.
After the last outburst of temper he had in French football, which was throwing the ball at a referee when he was at Nîmes, he actually retired from the game, and it took the intervention of people like Michel Platini and Gérard Houllier, who knew that he was such an important player for the French national team, to actually, move things behind the scenes, contacting, for example, Graham Souness had been contacted Howard Wilkinson, and setting things up so that Eric could start playing football again.
People like Brian Robson and Steve Bruce and Brian McClare and Mark Hughes and these sort of players, they're all thinking, are we going to have to sort of walk on eggshells and be careful what we say to him and how we deal with him? And it was absolutely nothing like that at all.
Cantona has caught Ruddock here from behind.
But he had the temper. It's a bit like Rooney now. I think if you take the temper away from him, then he wouldn't be half the player that he was.
I think he had a temper on the pitch, but not where our other. I mean, you know, we talk about other players. Roy Keane was one of the biggest tempers I've ever met in my life, and that was with our players or with the opposition. Whereas Eric was never like that on the training pitch or with us.
The back-to-back red cards, yes. When one of them was one against Arsenal, if I'm not mistaken, and the other one, remind me, Swindon. That was a horrible one.
Cantona tackled though by Monca. Didn't like it. Got it back. Oh, now the referee was very, very close to that. There's a card coming out. It's red, and Cantona goes.
I think when you get sent off so many times this season, I think you do. You know, at the time you sort of go, just drop down a gear and calm down. We need you on the pitch rather than getting sent off, and it's a stupid foul you give away. And but I think with the brilliance and the sort of personality he carries and the persona he has, I think you understand that he does walk a very thin line.
It's just one of these people who have moments when the mind goes blank or purple with rage.
Looking back at it, I was thinking, can't believe you've just done that, Eric, because I scored that game. Crystal Palace away, you know, we've gone in and the manager picked me out for giving away the goal or not marking him or something along them lines. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute, Eric's just two-footed a lad in the crowd here and you're having a go at me.
His temper was both an asset and a great disadvantage, and actually you could say that if he hadn't gone to England, probably this fierceness of temper would have cost him his career.
I think that's what made him great, that's what made him so special, because you know, the fire in his belly was burning and all he wanted to do was make sure that United won.
The Kung Fu kick led to an 8-month ban and a very famous press conference.
He actually wrote that speech while he was sat waiting for the press conference. All the press were there, all the cameras were up, and he's coming to one of the members of staff and said, "What's the birds that fly over the fishing thing?" And they've gone, "Oh yeah, the seagulls." "Oh yeah, that's it, seagulls, yeah, the seagulls." So the seagulls follow the trawlers. And the lads took the mickey out of him. You know, it was all like seagulls and trawlers and in the dressing room. And he just laughed and giggled.
That's one of the reasons why he was one of the most popular interviewees in French football, because you knew you would always come back with at least one of those very strange statements, which made sense to Eric and Eric only, it seems.
Because he does it with this French accent and with a straight face, and it's because he's doing a press conference, because he's just done something so aggressive that people think, oh, he's just an absolute nutter.
Today at Old Trafford, it's the return of Eric Cantona, the most talented, temperamental and talked about footballer in Britain.
Came back from his ban and you know, his first game was Old Trafford against Liverpool. You don't get any bigger games than that. And for him to come back in his first game and make one and score one was just, right, that's just the sort of thing that happens to Eric.
Cantona is back!
Cantona came back in October '95 with United chasing Newcastle. It became the Premier League's most famous race for the title.
United were not league leaders. Newcastle United were the league leaders, and at one point opened up a 12-point gap over Manchester United, which Manchester United began to slowly claw back.
You know, we'd come in Newcastle after winning 4-3 or 3-3 draw, and we'd had Man United get on. They won 1-0. Yeah, Schmeichel played brilliant, and Cantona scored.
And at the start of March '96, there was an absolutely vital game at Newcastle away.
If we'd have won, we'd have gone 6 or 8. Probably gone on to win the league, really. I would have thought.
It's on by Asprilla. Ferdinand, the first chance of the game.
Asprilla had just signed for Newcastle, and we couldn't get the ball off him. They created about 15 clear-cut chances in the first half.
Takes it. Oh, against the bar, back into play. Headed down by Asprilla.
We got absolutely battered. We did.
Absolutely battered them. Schmeichel was brilliant.
Ferdinand!
Cantona came up and scored. And that's what he did.
And it comes for Cantona! Manchester United have struck!
You probably thought, you know, we don't deserve anything out of the game, but yet one stroke of genius at the far post. You know, we managed to beat them 1-0.
Well, it's a huge victory for Manchester United. The gap is cut to just 1 point in Newcastle's favour. Giggs, it's Cantona!
I think he scored the winner in about the last 6 or 8 games. He scored an equaliser or a winner in pretty much most of the running games.
And that had not happened before Cantona. Sometimes Manchester United would dominate games, but they wouldn't win the games. But our hard luck, we played really well today, but they hadn't won.
Looking for the shooting opportunity and finds it! Eric Cantona again for Manchester United!
And when you heard the result on the radio, you didn't have to know, they didn't have to tell you who the goal scorer was. You knew it would be Eric Cantona again and again and again and again and again.
And there is Eric Cantona again. Absolutely spot on.
He was a big game player, at least domestically, in a way that Cristiano Ronaldo was many years later. You could go to Porto away needing a win, and Ronaldo would get you that win. And Cantona was like that. Arsenal would come to Old Trafford, and it would be a tough game because Arsenal were and are a very strong side. But Cantona would score the goal and get the 3 points, and then go home and watch some French art house movie or whatever he did in his private life.
I remember the Arsenal goal, chested it, maybe about 30 yards out, and then he's volleyed it from 25 yards straight over David Seaman. An unbelievable volley.
I think between Peter Schmeichel and Eric Cantona, they really took it on themselves and won us the league that year. I mean, I'm not saying the lads didn't do a good job, but without those two, we would never have caught Newcastle.
Cantona, yes! You felt it had to come eventually.
His 5th and final season at Old Trafford was as captain.
He was not the sort of person whom you think could lift a dressing room or deliver a tactical speech. But on the other hand, obviously, he had this huge charisma, and he led by example.
But one or two options to the left. Cantona!
He was the captain because technically he was the best, because also he was a fighter. But he was not a man like Roy Keane, for example, or a Tony Adams, some people you would immediately think as great captains, who not only led by example on the field, but also had the capacity to lift people with a speech and be true representatives of their club. I mean, he was a great representative of Manchester United, but not that way. I don't think the armband, I think the armband weighed a little bit heavily on his arm, strangely enough.
Cantona's lovely little touch to lay it off for Giggs.
Cantona remained influential throughout as a 4th title was duly won. And then it all ended, as suddenly and surprisingly as it had begun.
He felt that his heart was not quite in it, that the season of the comeback was the season when he could prove what he could do, who he was. And he'd done it. And once he'd done it, what else was there to do?
You know, we had a poor performance in the European Cup. I think we got beat by Dortmund at home, got knocked out by them. And I think, either he fell out of love with it or he'd realised that he couldn't go any on, couldn't take his dream of winning things any further. And for some reason, when I look back at him and watching him around the pitch, it's as if he'd made his mind up what was going to happen. And he didn't seem to celebrate as much as everybody else did. And it was a sad day, really. Well, it was a massively sad day. For whenever he was at United, he is still a god, and everybody still sings about him, everybody still mentions him. And he will go down in folklore history.
Eric Cantona's signing for Manchester United, it wasn't so much a signing as a marriage when he and Old Trafford and Sir Alex came together.
I think Alex Ferguson saw that he had a little pocket there for Cantona that would be perfect for him in a team that could really play around him and play off him. And I think when he got to Old Trafford, I think he found his home, if you like. The team around him were exactly what he needed, and he was exactly what the team needed, so he fit perfectly.
I don't think that Sir Alex Ferguson has ever treated a player the way he's treated Eric Cantona. Eric Cantona was forgiven an awful lot of things, got away with an awful lot of things that no other Manchester United player, past, present or future, will ever be forgiven.
I also know that other players resented a little bit the fact that he was cut so much freedom.
Yes, he was late at times coming to the training ground, generally because he got lost in his car, typical.
And the manager would carpet them for wearing their own style of clothes.
Yes, he would arrive dressed up in, technical jazz suits.
They felt that it was one rule for one and one rule for another, which it was.
Brian Robson, Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister, Paul Ince, they all knew why Sir Alex was doing it. so they left him alone. And they knew if they did it in a certain way, they'd get the best out of Eric, which would mean the best out of the team.
Cantona played 143 league games for Manchester United, scoring 64 goals, many of them great goals.
I really enjoyed the way that Eric Cantona played his football. I think there was a kind of a kindred spirit there. I think he really didn't care what other people thought about him. He played the game how he wanted to play it, and he had a kind of arrogance and a confidence about him on a football pitch, which I really admired, I must admit, and some of the goals that he scored for Manchester United kind of took your breath away and just made you just go, yeah, that's pretty special.
The goal that he scored at Old Trafford, where he chipped it into the far corner and then just stood there with his chest pumped out.
He scored a few goals against Southampton, and I have to say the defenders in the Southampton side never enjoyed playing against him. You know, he wasn't the quickest player in the world, but he was strong and he had a sense of timing and a knack of finding space in games.
I was the charger in the wall.
It's Cantona who's going to try it, and what a goal!
He just ran up and spanked it. And to beat Dave Seaman from distance, you know, doesn't really happen. It was a very tight game, and it was going to take something pretty special to win that game, and, you know, Eric Cantona produced it.
With great players, that's the problem. They can be quiet, and then all of a sudden, when that one chance is there, they do the business, and they hurt you quite a lot, and Eric was certainly one of them.
Now Manchester United fans have been spoiled by so many championships, but at the time, to say you're champions of England was a huge thing. I remember growing up in the 80s, and it was Liverpool, Everton, occasionally Arsenal, never ever United. And Cantona had delivered in a very tangible way, with trophies.
The attitude and the arrogance and the confidence he had on the pitch was immense. And when he turned up, he just took us onto a new level and really brought something special to the team. He was a special bloke, Eric.